Good morning, everybody. Just obviously going to wait for folks to trickle in, but good to see everybody so far. Good morning, everybody. We're just going to give folks a few more minutes to log on for our first meeting, but thank you all for joining so far.
How's the head count look, Mr. Chair?
Our numbers are increasing, Mr. Vice Chair.
Okay, wunderbar. I'll wait for you. I'll just hang out until then.
All right. Well, we're still going to wait for a few more people to join, but obviously want to be respectful of people's time. And I think I speak for Senator Fonfara and I when I say that we want to try to start our meetings on time, even if they're going to be virtual this year. I am Sean Scanlon, the co-chair of the committee, and I want to officially convene the January 11th, 2021 organizational meeting of the Finance Committee and welcome everybody to the Finance Committee this year. Obviously, it's going to be a very non-traditional session. Will look quite different from Finance Committees of past. For those of us who have been on this committee, usually by now we're in a very large room together, crammed, packed full of people and lobbyists and visitors and guests. And it's not going to look like that for some time, but we're obviously going to do our best to make sure that this runs smoothly. We have 49 members this year, which obviously makes us one of the largest committees, if not the largest in the building. And we're going to have to work collaboratively together to make this work on Zoom. I'm going to go over that in a minute. But before I do, I just wanted to say thank you all again for your interest in serving on this committee. Whether you're a freshman and joining for the first time, or you've been on for many, many terms, perhaps even longer than I have, certainly excited to work with all of you this year. I know that Senator Fonfara is going to say a few words at the end of the meeting, but I just want to just give an opportunity for the ranking members to say a few words now, and then I'll dive into some of the procedural stuff. So, Senator Martin, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is my third term as a member of the Finance Committee and my first time around as ranking member. So I am looking forward to helping the committee chairs, moving this, what we need to do as a body here regarding helping our state financing, the issue that's before us regarding our financing here in the state. So welcome aboard, everybody. And listen, I'm an open book, and if anybody's got great ideas, I'm one for listening. And I want to encourage any of the new members to not to be afraid to ask questions on whoever is speaking. I know being a first-time legislator, sometimes you're a little apprehensive whether or not you should be asking questions. I just want to encourage you to participate in this process, because you may just have the right question in order for us to solve a problem. So welcome once again. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Senator. Representative Cheeseman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Like Senator Martin, this is my third term on this committee, and like Senator Martin, this is my first time as ranking member. I'm delighted to be back. I've always loved serving on finance. I want to echo his comments. Good ideas are good ideas no matter where they come from. I'm a great proponent of stealing good ideas from anywhere, not necessarily taking credit, but using the best suggestions. And speaking personally, I want to remain really laser focused on what we can do as a committee to help our state recover from this terrible public health crisis, from all the ill effects we've seen over the past year. So I look forward to serving with all of you. It's an honor and a pleasure. I am going to have Chris Davis on speed dial. He did such a great job as my predecessor here. And I thank you for being here, and I thank you for your time. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative. I want to acknowledge our two vice chairs. We have Representative Steve Meskers, who looks like he's enjoying a nice day at the beach today, and then Representative Kavros de Gras, who is also our second vice chair this year. So please wave and welcome them both as our vice chairs this year. Now I'd like to take a few minutes to introduce the staff. All of you who have been on this committee know that we do not do anything without the help of our incredible staff, and they make us look good and give us all the information we need. And what I'm going to ask them to do, because I want you to actually see their face, is if when I say their name, if they could just quickly unmute and say hi, their picture will pop up and you can actually get to know who they are. So first and foremost, we have our clerk, our administrator, committee administrator, Tom Spinella.
Hi everyone.
We also have Jean Holloway, who's our assistant clerk.
She's not on right now.
Okay. How about Logan Cotter?
Hi, everybody. I don't know if you can see me.
We can't, but we'll get to see you, Logan.
Hello.
Then we have Dawn Silveria, who's the assistant clerk.
Hi, everybody.
And then Christina Penn, who is the clerk and also my legislative aide.
Hi, everyone.
Next from OFA, we have Michael Murphy.
Good morning. Hello.
Chris Wetzel.
Hello, everyone.
And Eric Gray, who's our bonding analyst.
Hello.
Our LCO attorney is Kumi Sato.
Hello, everybody.
And then from OLR, we have Root Pino.
Good morning, everyone.
And Heather Poole.
Hi, everyone.
All right, so quickly want to talk about some of the committee rules this year, or for all committees. It's not just for us. First and foremost, important to know that all of the Finance Committee meetings and the public hearings will be broadcast live on YouTube and stored there for future public viewing. Some of the meetings will be on CTN depending on the schedule and availability, but all of them will definitely be recorded and put on YouTube. So, don't think that we're off the hook in any way for the public to hold us accountable. All of this will be filmed with good reason and put online, and you can refer back to these meetings in that way too. Once we have a sense of where those are, I believe, Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, they're based on the YouTube channel for the physical room that we would ordinarily be in. Is that right, Tom?
Correct. Yes. So every meeting will have a room assigned to it, and that's, in a sense, the YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yep.
Second, the Zoom link. That is for Finance Committee members only. And Senator Fonfara and I feel very, very strongly about this, that please do not share that personalized link that you got as a member of this committee with anybody outside of the committee or even anybody on your staff. That is not the appropriate thing for us to do. We're being very, very careful in particular in how we do this to ensure the sanctity of these meetings. There are other ways for the public to engage. So please do not share that link to anybody outside of yourself, because it's just a link for you as a member of the committee. Any invited guests or panelists should have access to a different link. The contact info form has been sent around to you from Christina Penn, our clerk. If you have not filled that out already, please do that to Tom and Christina. This becomes increasingly important this year, just as we try to make sure that we have quorums for these meetings and we have the ability to do business. And obviously having your contact information is vitally important for us to do that. Voting, you actually must have your camera on so that staff can see your face when voting. This is part of the joint rules and is required for all legislators on all committees. Another important thing for you to think about here, we're all familiar with this process where the chair will say, hey, the votes are going to be open until 3 o'clock in room X. Well, obviously now we're all not going to be going to room X. So the way that that's going to work, God bless them, is that Tom and Christina and some of our assistant clerks are going to sit and just chill in the Zoom room until those votes are closed, which means that you can just pop into the link that is reserved for you as a legislator. You'll see Tom, Christina, or somebody from the committee, and you'll just say, hey, it's Representative Scanlon. I vote aye on this bill or nay on this bill, and we can walk through it like that. Again, if anybody has questions, we'll talk about this more when we actually get down to actually voting on things. But for now, I just want to put that in your head, especially for the members that have been here before. It's very different than it has been previously. Okay, speaking. As I said, we have 49 members on the committee, which is very large. And it's going to be very hard for John and I to be sort of scanning through many pages of Zoom logs to see who might be raising a hand or frantically going like this. So the best thing for you to do is to actually use the official raise your hand button, which you can find on the bottom panel where it says participants, chat, screen share, record. Under reactions, you should see an option to raise your hand. So I just did it right here. If you don't see that, it's probably because you're using an older version of Zoom. I had to update my Zoom account myself just to make sure that I was using the updated version. Then the raised hand popped up. What that does, I'm told, is it puts anybody with a raised hand up in the top left-hand corner of my screen so that I'll be able to sort of see in a row who's got their hand raised, and we can begin to call up Representative Lamar, Representative Miller. They have questions. I can see their hands. Rep. Butler, they go in the top left-hand corner, and then I can call on them. That is the way that we are going to approach any and all questions and comments during our meetings and public hearings. So if you have a question for a witness, just pop your hand up. I'll make a list. We'll make sure that you get to you. Unclear if it's in the order in which that they asked it, but we're going to get to a system to make sure that that happens. So anybody will be able to be called on there. And then once you're done speaking, you can just lower your hand and you can go on for there. Your background probably goes without saying. All of us are adults who have been duly elected by the people of our districts to be upstanding, good representatives, but please just make sure that your background is professional and responsible. I would also ask the members to please not have anything behind you that indicates your position on a certain bill or certainly indicates your political party or your support for one candidate or the other. We want to make sure that this is a really productive environment, that there's nothing distracting behind you, and that there's nothing indicating your support for or against a particular bill that we're debating. That goes obviously for people that are testifying too. We don't want anyone with banners behind them, just because we would not allow that in the committee room, so we shouldn't be allowing that on Zoom either. Appreciate everyone's attention. I'm sorry I'm going through a lot of stuff here, but it's all very important. Leaving the meeting and recess, if votes are held open, again, that's the system that we talked about earlier. The emoticons, like clapping hands and thumbs up, we're also not going to allow those either. So as much as I would love people to give me the clap-a-con if I say something brilliant, please keep my ego in check by not putting the emoticon up there. Don't thumbs down anybody you disagree with that's your colleague when they say something. Just please do not use those emojis, even though that they're there for your for their use. And finally, last but not least, the use of the chat, either public or private, is not allowed. All chat records are saved by default and therefore could be subject to FOI requests. So please do not use the chat function even though it's there. We will not be using any chat functions for committee business. any announcements that we'll be making will be done audibly so that you all hear them. And we will obviously be finding a way to make sure that we're cognizant of those who have, differing abilities in terms of hearing to make sure that they understand what's going on. But we will not be using the chat function for those purposes. And then last but not least, just a few things to talk about, which is that our JF deadline is April 22nd. For those, and maybe Senator Funfara will talk about this, but he gave me some great advice the other day, which is that finance starts last and ends last. So if you're a freshman in particular, and you're on a committee that's already raised 100 bills, and you're wondering what the heck is going on finance, the reason is because we start last and finish last. And so our JF deadline is probably a month and a half after some of the other committees that you're on. And just by the way of the nature of the work we're doing, we will start slower. So we don't have a new date for our next meeting just yet, so stay tuned for that. But just want to let you know that that's the reason for this, and we're not getting off to a disorganized or a slow start. This is just the way this committee functions, and just getting used to that. I know for some folks will be a challenge. That is all I had, Senator Funfara. I'm not sure if you'd like to say a few words at this point now, but I'm going to kick it over to you. Just got to unmute yourself, Senator.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you taking the helm. It's the part of the job I like the least, but it's necessary, and I will when you have to take a bathroom break or have other responsibilities beyond chairing the committee. And you did a great job of explaining all of that. And welcome. I'm looking forward to getting to know you better, working with you on the important issues that this committee has to deal with, the formal responsibilities, of course, of generating and creating and passing a tax package and all that comes with that, but also the myriad of other issues that we have cognizance over. And as anyone who pays attention, even some areas that may not be of our cognizance, but are important in terms of the affairs of the state. So Senator Martin, looking forward to working with you formally in your new role, as well with Representative Cheeseman, who for the past couple of years sat in front of me when we were in the back row. And I know that you'll be moving up a row going forward. I would like to recognize my former co-chair, Jason Rojas. You know, we're in a business that the king is dead, long live the king. And I've always rejected and resisted that in this business as much as I can. He was a great partner. Like Sean, he enjoyed the administrative side as much as the legislative side, but he enjoyed that part of it, and I was grateful to him for it, and I'm going to miss him greatly. Still in the building, obviously. I think he took another job, but looking forward to continuing our relationship. Kevin Whitkos, who we seem to can't separate. He was my ranking member when I chaired the Energy Committee, again on finance, and I know he's remaining on the committee, but our friendship will endure and we'll continue to work together. And Chris Davis, who, there are a lot of smart people in the building. Chris Davis was one of the smartest. We didn't do as much together as I would have liked, frankly, but I've always enjoyed his intellect and respected his positions. Disagreed often, but he is a thoughtful guy, and we're going to miss him, and the institution will miss him. And Cassandra Gallion, who was the committee clerk and has moved on with Jason Rojas, who he took her with him onto other things. So we'll miss her as well. She did a great job. Those of you who are new to the committee, Tom Spinella has really taken on this job and learned it tremendously. This whole YouTube world, he knows it like the back of his hand. So if you like me are not all that familiar with the process yet, as we will become before this year is over, sadly, talk to Tom about it. We're very lucky to have him as the committee administrator. And Christina Penn, who's new, but looking forward to getting to know her. The staff, as the chairman said, critically important to keeping the train moving. And the fifth floor certainly is a major part of that. And take advantage of these folks, get to know them. I have strong positions about the fifth floor. They've heard it ad nauseum. I won't go into it today, but there's great talent there. And if you can nudge them away from the nonpartisan aspect of the job, you'll get even more out of them. But they're excellent people. I see Neil Ayers was on, and I guess he still is, as leader in OFA. Michael Murphy, who you've been introduced to. Chris Wetzel, who I got to get a flow before, but he's looking good. Evelyn Wisniewski, Bill Letterman's there. You can't understand a word he says, but he's probably the smartest guy in the fifth floor. And Eric Michael Gray, who knows bonding. If you folks are going to be on the bonding subcommittee, which I encourage, if you haven't been appointed, to pay attention to that. Everybody wants to bring something home. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. I don't care what part of the state you come from. It's important. And OLR, Ruth Pinho, who's knows more about the place and knows more about issues than her age would suggest. Get to know Ruth. She is extraordinary in her knowledge of a lot of issues. And Heather Poole also, we're lucky to have her. We don't see her as much as we want to, but she's great. And lastly, but certainly not least, Kumi Sato, who she's our lawyer, and she's sharp as a tack. Quiet, she's not going to offer a lot, but she knows a lot. And I encourage you all to get to know her and listen to her, because she'll keep you out of trouble. Chris Reinhardt, Kumi, I don't know if he's still doing bonding, but if he is, I enjoy working with him, and I think you will as well if you have issues with respect to bonding. My aide is Pete Torres. I don't know if Pete's on the call, but he's available to you. And Ryan Hughes is for those of you who have been around who knew Dave Stuber, who was my right-hand man in terms of issue development. He's moved on to better things. Ryan Hughes is the new Dave Stuber. So I just close by saying, the committee, as partisan as fiscal issues can be, they don't extend to the committee personally. We've enjoyed very good relationships over the years among the leadership of the committee of both parties. And I hope that will continue. I'm certain it will. And I'll close by saying that the Finance Committee, as the chairman said, is a big committee. And I was on the Finance Committee for years before I became chairman. And there'll be times when you'll think, geez, why am I on this committee? It's so big. I'm new to the committee. What can I hope you'll resist that thinking, and that it doesn't mean that you have to say it's not necessarily something you say in committee or at a hearing. We're available. Have conversations with us, and you'll be surprised, and maybe you won't, how much of that is retained by us and may end up in the language somehow, in some way. You're here for a reason, and you're bringing a perspective and experience that no one has all of what you have. And so if we shut off our minds, if we're unwilling to listen and learn and take advantage of what you bring, whether it's from a business perspective, whether it's from your districts, whatever it might be, it's important for us. And I hope whether you're a veteran or you're a freshman, that you'll remember that going forward as we get into the middle of the session. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for this time. I look forward to working with everybody, especially yourself and leadership of the committee.
Thank you, Senator. And let me just echo what Senator Fonfara just said, which is that I want to have as open door policy as humanly possible as the chair of this committee. And that goes from somebody who's been on this committee since, before I was alive, to somebody who's just joining for the first time. And so please, my number will be made available to all of you, my personal number. You can call me anytime you want, and I'd be happy to talk to you about anything that's important to you or any bill that you have questions or concerns about. And that goes for Democrats and Republicans. So please just know that. I look forward to working with Senator Martin, Representative Cheeseman, as a team on this committee and making sure that their voices are heard, and all of you as we begin this process of, as Senator Funfara said, dealing with some really weighty issues. There perhaps is not too much bigger thing that we do in the legislature than the state budget every 2 years. And this committee, you're going to have a front row seat to that, as the members who are returning will know. But for those that are new, you're about to learn a lot about the way that we govern and how we do it, and the priorities that we do that with, I think, set the tone for what we do as a state. So exciting work. Doing it in a pandemic is going to be challenging, but I'm confident that we're going to have a great session on this committee, and that we will do some really good stuff for the state as we help to get our state out of this mess and on a brighter track for a better future. So with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn, and I will see you all soon.
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.